dads, right? Am I wrong?
Am I wrong?
It's like 1 second you don't have kids, and then there's a kid, and it's like action. And then you're just kind of sitting there, and you don't know what you're supposed to do.
That about sums it up for me.
You had your best guess. Yeah, like, right? I had my best guess of how great I'd be.
Oh yeah, no, I had visions of me holding my kids in the air like Simba and like spinning in the park, you know. And then I remember the first time I did that, I looked around to see, like, did anybody just see what a good dad I am right now? What are the things that you feel like you guys want your kids to go into adulthood with? What are the, I don't know, like the top skills?
My biggest goal, I want my kids to know who they are and to love who they are, and not in a weird egotistical way, but I do believe it's the start. Like, love others as you love yourself implies you already love yourself, right? Like, we're starting there. Yeah. So I want them to feel comfortable with who they are, and it's something that I've been in my 40s trying to get back to, because it's like I've unlearned it. But for some reason, I felt really comfortable with who I was going into adulthood. And like, I don't know how I got it. I don't, as an adult now looking back, feeling more insecure, going, how do I get that back again? How do I feel like, this is who I am, world, I'm okay with it. Like, boy, I want that for myself again, for sure, but I want that for my kids at all times. And I think good parenting is a part of that. I had good parents that loved me and made me feel good about just being me. And that is, if there's anything that's more like God than that, I don't know, like acceptance, right?
Yeah, that, like, when I watched the Mr. Rogers documentary, watched it by myself at like 11 o'clock at night, I was just like
Waterworks.
Weeping on the couch by myself. I mean, just the words of Mr. Rogers, like telling me that, like, who I am, just the way I am, like, you know, I like you just the way you are. It was like, you know, and I tell that to both of our kids.
It's got to be a byproduct of something else, right? That kind of acceptance, that internal, true loving and acceptance of themselves is a byproduct of you not just telling them they're good, but like, not just giving them that, but like something else that gives them the foundation to go, oh, I can sit down here, right?
I think in response to the question from earlier, of what I want to give them into adulthood, it's values. So it's just what are the values? I think through the pandemic, having that shakeup in values was profound for me, as far as losing work and losing stability, and still finding that doesn't matter right now. That doesn't matter. We've got each other to think about.
We have more time to hang out.
To find the values that they're actually more value than the stress of any of those situations, because their memories of this will shape their lives. And they're shaping our lives right now, because I feel like when you force it, it's like all you can show is the underbelly of whatever you're talking about. And when someone starts forcing something on you, you're just like, ugh. Just like you were talking about with the guy at your door. You're like, don't do that. Even though it's a good product, you're pushing it, and so all I can see is that it's something that's being forced rather than helped.
Some things are caught, not taught.
Ooh, like fish.
Man,
no,
write that down.
Yeah, like that kind of
like COVID.
Yeah, that.
You can't teach COVID. You can't. If I told my kids every single day, like 20 times a day, I love you just the way you are, I love you just the way you are, as opposed to telling them that, as well as demonstrating that, it has to be like continuum of that doesn't end when they're 18 or 21, right? Like I'll be 42 in a few weeks. I still like cherish hearing from my parents when they tell me that they're proud of me and that they love me. That means so much to me, and so they're not done parenting me. I still need them to parent me.
The most discouraging kind of revelation I had when I was trying to figure out how do I raise great kids, right? So I guess that's it. So I would look at people who had older kids that are great. I met those people, their kids are amazing, and then I was like, okay, I want to know the secret. And then I spend any time with those parents, and the secret is they're amazing people. I was like, Oh,
just do
crap!
that.
I gotta be an amazing
Just do
person
that.
if I want great kids.
Just do that. That's easy enough.
Like it
Yeah.
really, like I'm not exaggerating.
Yeah.
Like if you meet, I swear, it is the most consistent thing, and it's like, oh, because that's what it takes. It takes consistency. It takes that, like, you don't get to just do this thing. It's not about, like you said, that
Yeah.
one ceremony. It's the accumulation. It's moving up to that where it makes sense now, and so that's the hardest part.
My most difficult moments are like when whatever's going on with my children is an inconvenience to me.
I was just thinking about this recently because of how easy it is to be inconvenienced now, because you can be on your phone in a split second. So
And it's giving you everything you want.
a little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything.
Anytime that I want it. So I can be disconnected and like out in just a second if I get an email or if something happens, or if I just get the itch.
Yeah.
And then if they're doing something that interrupts it, I could be irritated, like, you're interrupting me.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, you're not.
Yeah, that's the same.
This is real life.
That's the same
What
idea
am
as like the game is on.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you don't talk to me. The game's on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That has been the hardest part of COVID for me. Is I am my work or whatever is always at home too, because and they're home right during the day. So the only times I'm really like I agree is when I feel like something, my phone clicked, there's like email that came in, I'm reading it, it's a really important, stressful thing that I'm like, and then my daughter comes over like, Papa, and I'm in a very quick moment like, dude, I can't, like they are in my office, like they came, they went on the elevator, they talked to the secretary, they got through, and then they opened the door, and I'm like, what are you doing in here? And they're like, a minute ago we were playing, like, what are you talking about?
Right.
And that is hard. Like, I don't think we're meant to be like that. And and granted, I could turn that part of my phone off and all of that, and I could create those times. That's definitely my issue as much. But this has been a real challenging moment to like know how to parent through, because we're also still having to deal with life, and life certainly didn't get easier or I guess less stressful during the pandemic, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So in a sentence, what is ideally being a dad?
What is ideally being a dad? Man, I don't know. I am just so lucky. I have like two just awesome girls. One of them still thinks I'm the strongest person in the world. My wife is such a great mom. If I just don't screw up really bad, I can get a silver medal easy as a dad. I really feel like she's really got it dialed in. The only thing that comes natural to me is the things that come natural to me. Everything else is so much work, and that's like almost all of that. What does it mean to you to be a dad, Josh?
Ideally, being a dad, I was thinking about this earlier today. I think it's being just planted with them. Being planted side by side. So I tend to think of it as me like tending to them or being the gardener. And I'm realizing that that's a really condescending way to look at it. And that I need to be tended to, and I am being tended to just as much as they are. And when I see myself as that way, I'm better at being with them, because I'm just being with them instead of being for them or at them.
Yeah.
And so that's what I think of, just being planted with them.
I always think about, like, there's the classic trope of how God has been represented as the Father in the scriptures many times. How we see our Father is how we see God. Obviously, as fathers, that's the worst. Please, that's the worst thing I could. Like, here's the only thing I need you to be like, Dad, God. Oh no, I hope that's not true. But
yes, just be a representation of God for me.
Exactly.
That's all I want.
That's all I hope
need.
That's not true.
That's all
I'm
from
saying.
you.
I don't know how much that's true for me. I also really hope it's not that true for my daughters. Is all I'm saying. But as representatives, as reflections, whatever, I feel like the scriptures give us a clear identity at the beginning that we're reflections of God, right? We're made in His image, and the first image of God that we get is a creator, an artist, right? He creates, he makes something, create whatever. That energy, that creativity energy, is for me the first to go when I don't want to be, when I'm just exhausted or whatever, when I'm not interested in dadding today. Creativity, that part's gone.
Yeah.
But what I want to be, like in my best dad moments, is bringing creative, the God energy, I guess I'm gonna say, the most godlike energy we have, my creativity to my family. As I reflect right now, I'm like, well, it's been a long time since I brought that real energy.
I just recently wrote down a note: don't let the day accumulate. Meaning, like, you know, as the day keeps on going, usually by the end of the day, I'm exhausted. Usually by the end of the day, they've done that thing one too many times. Usually by, you know, like, and then I just start making poorer or weaker decisions because I'm still locked in those things that happened earlier, rather than being like, well, they happened, and now here we are in this moment, and who really cares that they happened, and why? And if it's me, then I gotta answer that why, and it's usually just terrible answers that have everything to do with me and very little to do with love, the values that I want to communicate. And so to be able to remind myself, don't let the day accumulate, just be here with them, and that helps me to be creative, because they'll be saying something, and instead of me thinking, well, like, earlier you just said to me and then you let this out and I stepped on, I'm not thinking about all those things. I can just be like, yeah, that sounds like a hilarious idea, let's do that.
Do it.
That's been a much more rewarding way to go about it. It's been happening for like 2 hours right before bed, so
Nice.
I'll let you know.
Smart time to
it's
do
going
it.
really well.
Oh man.
What's the funniest thing your kids have ever said?
Oh jeez.
I know mine. Amadeus, we were sitting at the dinner table one day, and I was like, hey buddy, I have an idea. And he goes, nipples? Was nipples your idea? And then Carmela, maybe like 2 months ago, she's playing in the room by herself, and then I hear her go, by the power of diamonds and swords, it's for everyone to love. I'm like, I have no...
it's for everyone to love.
It's for everyone to love, the power of diamonds and swords.
Oh, I remember one time when Charlotte was like, and this is Charlotte, this was a long time ago, so she was like probably like 3 or 4. She was in the bath playing with her these little, like, these little turtle things, I think, and they, like, you twisted them and then they would swim, and so she was like twisting them and like they're racing them or something. And as I was listening outside the door, and she was twisting one. She looked at this guy, this one turtle. She goes, this guy's a winner." It's just like, woo.
I love catching them dancing, you know, when you just see them rocking out, that kind of stuff.
Living their best life.
That's seeing that moment of their bodies just flailing and joining in with them and having fun with it is it's so rad. It's such a fun experience to.
I think that's what I want for my kids. Is that they know that, like, who they are is just who they need to be, and that they can, like, feel free enough to, like, just be joyous, you know, in doing that. Like, to be who God's created them to be, and to be joyous in doing that. What's the name of that movie? Where you know, there's like all the emotions.
Inside Out.
Inside Out, dude.
Inside Out. They're making a sequel here.
So there's a scene in Inside Out where, like, her, like, the bridge to that, like, island of, like, joy or silliness was, like, being cut off, and I was just like, no, like, I want my kids to be confident in who they are, like, to know that who God's created them to be is exactly who they should be, to pursue health, like, continually, but then also to just be able to be silly, you know, because I feel like there's so many times where, back to the beginning, me spinning around with Amadeus, and instead of being present with him, wondering like, do I look cool right now? You know, like to be more concerned about do I look like a cool dad than just connecting with my son.
No, for sure, man.
You do look like a good dad, though.
Hella.
Yeah, hella.